squad heading for the Olympics. The road to Rio, to our two here, to Gemma and to Pippa. Good luck to both of them. Let's give a round of applause. Good luck to them both in Rio, and to all the squads as they head out to Brazil in the next few days. And, well, hopefully coming back with gold.
Not playing with the free man. 5-2. Quick smack. You'll see him come up over this one anyway. Very hard.
There's a rug I've seen down there, that's what it is.
Go and jump all over the bench. And this one, and that one. We've got loads of.
Well, nearly set to go in the Amlin Plus Ventures Challenge. It is fast and furious stuff all the way. 4 seconds to add for a knockdown. And refusals not penalised, but 3 refusals in total incur elimination as they go rattling around this course. And it is a big course indeed, as we see it includes the crossing of the lake at 15 and 16, the road fence. Coming up later on the course at 14, the bank comes up at fence.
In 2014, it returned last year as the Amlin Plus Ventures Challenge, and this unique competition here in this amazing international arena is only open to some of the world's best eventers. From New Zealand, from Great Britain, from Ireland and beyond, they come here to compete for some very good prize money. And this field this year, once again, is world class, including Olympic gold medalist team members that will be heading to Rio next week. We've got some of the best of the young talent from the world of British eventing. We've got riders with experience, riders returning for the second year. It's 4 seconds to add on to the time at the end of the round. Well, safely over the first of the 3 fences, that Amlin Plus fence, getting things started, round over the gate, and now beginning to move out across this arena. Clears that open ditch with the brush on top as he comes round the back of the bank for the first time to the water.
But I think you always have to remember with event horses that sometimes it is out of context.
Takes on the accuracy challenge of the corners. They swing round to the left. Of course, the undulation here in the international arena to be taken into account, plenty of ups and downs, but it's up the Derby bank for the first time, using the slightly softer side to what we saw a month ago in the Equestrian.com Derby. But down and on towards the British Horse Society Chicane we go here for Dan Jocelyn, looking to set a very good time as the first to go. It's towards the Irish bank, slightly angled brush, narrow brush before they jump up onto that Irish bank, and then again when they come off, and then flying onto the Longines flight butt. Can't see much when you come towards that, it's just big brush in front of them, but then keeping up the pace as we move through the Devil's Dyke.
This is a good start, 96 seconds gone. The competition changed. First time it was run like this was last year when the Red Andrew Nicholson won it. So now we're at the water in the middle, a little long, down into the water. Lose a bit of that rhythm there, so you've got to pick it up again as they now come to home.
Just to jump the corner now, and then really want to open them up here before the road crossing, the final road crossing. Just interesting, the water, you just have to watch because the water it does get a bit deep, so we've seen horses stumble over the years there.
Yeah, we've had an odd ducking. Peter Charles, I remember a little while ago, but there he's home. Good round, very good round from Dan Johnson, the Kiwi. Been over here for many years now, certainly must be 20 years or more, but still doing a very good job. Blackthorn Cruise then, finishing with nothing to add, 1:33.78. Good time to start, Steve.
Absolutely, and cleanly ran, which shows it can be done, but as you see, all of those different variation of fences come. 1:33.78 from the first away. So supporting from the sidelines here, Matthew Heath's Emma Clark, St. Clair Davis is the Lion. Now they're going to need a big heart around this course.
This is his most experienced horse, but he's got a really good team of young horses, Matt, these days. His was headland for Paul Webber Stables, and Matt came to the sport via that, and James Starkey, and he's really now flying. But an early 5 seconds to add.
Yeah, frustratingly, but Matt is one of the very quick riders. He's always one in the show jumping that gets well inside the time when other people are getting time thoughts. So he's just had another fence down there. So he'll be kicking himself, but he's still going to keep moving on.
Yeah, 4 seconds to add for every mistake, so 8 at the moment. As he goes behind the famous Hickstead bank. 2 options here. You can go direct as Matthew is going, which means that you come very quickly to the brush fence. There is a rail that can come down there, but there is an alternative which gives you a bit more time to get the hedge off. Over the Tricana, quite a big ditch there at that Tricana.
Big wide dry ditch. Getting up onto this bank, and again with the position, it was great to see Matt, his position didn't move. That's the thing, again, cross-country riding, you've got to stay with them in the balance, not get in front of them.
That little narrow bullfinch is often one of the cheeky fences that catches 1 or 2 out, that didn't catch Matt out, or the 2 elements of the dyke, safely through that. So
moving quickly across the international arena, but he has got those 8 seconds to add at the moment. Nevertheless, beginning to push as hard as he can to try and make up some of that time. Certainly no delays as he goes through the water.
Staying there, right there in balance, if not slightly behind us just as they enter into that water.
So close home, over the road crossing, 120 seconds gone.
Lands over the road crossing with a final fence. Looks like it'll be a quicker time. And the last goes as well. Bad luck to Matthew Heath there with his Emma Clark and Claire Davis as the Lion. A combination that have had great success in the world of eventing, but not to be today. 140.67 is the final time. It was quicker before the fences fell, but in the end, it's still New Zealand's Dan Jocelyn that's going to lead the way with 2 home and finished. Well, Ireland next. Joseph Murphy here with Alison Schmitz and Andrew Tinkler's West Wind's Hercules. Well, Joseph, who competed here 12 months ago, didn't necessarily end the way he wanted. He finished with a splash as he dismounted in the water. Ireland ever increasing in their strength in the world of international event competition. Joseph, who's based in Killaleer in Northern Ireland. He's an Irish Eventer of the Year in 2014. Part of the team that finished 5th in London 2012. He's also competed at the World Equestrian Games in 2014 out in Normandy. Again, the Irish team finishing in 5th there. Well, nothing to add as we come down off the bank and we push on up the hill over that tricana, and he flies on towards the high horse first Irish bank.
And again, the position of Joseph Murphy, absolutely perfect. Upright, solid, as he now comes to the Devil's Dyke. Used to be 3.
Keeping up a good payoff. I begin to talk too quickly. He was keeping up a good pace, but when those fences fall, 4 seconds now, 8 seconds to be added onto the clock at the end of the round. And we've seen last year where riders ultimately were quicker than the eventual winner, but when those fences fall, the clock goes up and it just makes it that little bit more difficult. 133.78 though, the leading time. Coming towards the final fence, the privet hedge. And nothing to add, it's 132.11 the final time. In fact, that with the 4 seconds, 8 seconds to add there, it's 140.11, and it goes into second for Joseph Murphy. Well, we're bringing together a world-class field of event riders here this afternoon, and delighted to welcome one of the world's very best alongside me in the commentary box ahead of his round, Sir Mark Todd. Welcome. Great to have you here with us. And what are you looking forward to here this afternoon with this competition?
It's going to react when it gets in there. It's a bit different to what they're normally used to, as we can see now with Beanie Sturgis and Lebowski. Very fast combination across country, but he's a bit of an old character, this horse, and you never quite know what he's going to do. But I would expect she's going to go pretty quick round here.
She certainly looks to have a quick pace to start with, but it must be so different for you event riders because it's so short, so sharp between the fences.
Yeah, it is. It's a little bit sort of show jumping, a little bit or speed class jumping, and a little bit cross country. And you need a special sort of horse normally for this, and this I would say would be the ideal sort of horse if he can stay clean.
Well, flying round the back of the bank. And she really is attacking this track right from the off, as you said.
Yeah, no, he's an older horse. He's an Australian thoroughbred. He's very nifty and he's very careful. You need a careful horse around here because these poles that come off, they tend to come off quite easily.
And because 1 minute you're jumping a big solid fence and the next thing you've got a flimsy gate in front of you.
Yeah, now interesting, Beanie went the long way there. I would say she would still be up on time at the moment. If she can stay clear, she's going to be very hard to catch, I would think. Yeah, 2 strides up onto the bank. Oh, he fiddles over that. She pops in a third to the last part, but that's okay. She kept her momentum going. Now Hunting Girl, she'll gallop down to this. He's a little bit bemused by the whole thing by the look of it.
And again, a very different environment for the horses as well, with the crowd all around the arena for you.
She was a little bit worried about that, the long stride coming out, and he just found it a little bit too long and had that.
Well, 4 seconds to be added on. Oh. Now, last year we saw quite a bit of trouble at this water.
I don't know what it is about it. They just don't. Some horses don't. That's a real. But yeah, interesting. I don't know whether she'll be. That another fault hasn't come up, and maybe they just add time.
The first time under the rule. She's moving on towards the last. 133.78 leads the. Was clear finish down. It's 171 in the end. Bad luck, Beanie.
Well, it was all looking so good early on, wasn't it? And then just went to bits of it at the end, but can happen.
But I suppose with this sort of competition, you have to attack from the beginning, Mark.
Yeah, there's no sort of going out there for a leisure, because we already have a Joss. So if you want a chance of being in there, you're going to have to go.
Next in, one of Britain's Cook. Who has now become the travelling reserve for Team GB. She'll be heading out to Rio. But of course, part of the team as an individual in London. She's also individual and team bronze medal winner from the Olympics in Hong Kong, Beijing.
Very experienced rider. Oh my God. Just left a front. But never good having a pole down. It sort of upsets concentration a little bit, and you're all, I've got to make up those.
And that causes own issues for you as a rider because you put pressure on yourself.
Yeah, you can then end up hurrying a little bit. Sort of settle down. I'm not quite sure how to turn right there. All the horses will have studs in their shoes to give extra grip.
We have just had a light rain. That changed the mind.
I mean, like I say, we do have studs in to give. Off on banks like this. No, she's going all right now. How a split is. She's here in 75 seconds on top. We might just have to the horses. But you can see the a little bit like, oh my God, what's next? They're just not used to. Yeah, you know, country horse, but seeing a ditch in the of a
It's not
used to it.
We've been more used to having a that if it did touch it, it wouldn't be going. Last fence 4 track, and she's certainly overcome all those issues, including the
around this. He can be a little bit quirky, and I'm just not sure how for the
It's 12 seconds to add, 139.54 was the time. Of course, that's going to move up, and Star Witness there, 151.54 the final time for Great Britain's Tina Cook. Still a long way to go. Ultimately, Mark, you're going to go last in this competition. That must give you a little bit of an advantage, or does it not? At least you've had the chance to sort of see a few go before you.
well, you know what you have to do anyway.
You know the time you're going to try and beat.
Yeah, whether that's a help or not, I don't know. It can sometimes make you sort of go a little bit, rush a little bit, and go quicker than you probably should. But anyway, we'll be giving it a go.
Well, Adam Gillespie next to go, young man from Newcastle. Recently finished second in the Young Rider trial at Aston Le Walls, and on the long list for the Young Rider Europeans later this year.
In 2013, as you say, all the way down from Newcastle, and really enthusiastic.
Yeah, looks like a good jumper. He looks quite careful, so it'll be interesting. See how he goes round the course.
And there really is a great pool of talent in this class, from the likes of yourself, great experience, through to some of very good young riders as well, gaining experience.
Yeah, well, you know, we don't get the opportunity to come and jump in these big shows like this, and it is a fun class. It's totally, like I say, totally different to what we normally do. It's get out there, chase around, try and go as quick as you can, but leave the poles up, and it's a bit of a novelty.
And again, taking the alternative route, they can choose when they're on top of the bank whether they go straight down the steep side or take that slightly softer downhill slope.
He's going well. He's not going extra quick, but the horse is having a nice ride.
Because those little brushes both before and after the Irish bank, they're slightly offset. Does that cause extra issues as you're coming towards them?
Well, I mean, these horses are normally pretty used to locking onto sort of narrow things and jumping things at angles. It's more like this fence that's going to cause them trouble. And like I say, you know, they're used to jumping ditches all day long, but when they see it in the bottom of a dike like that, it's just, that can cause them to back off and do what he did. Chip in an extra stride coming out and have the fence down. And then, and they're also used to going through water all the time, but they all pretty much have a look at that fence there.
Yep.
And then right, the last three fences all come down, and you know, the temptation is to gallop at them. I mean, this is a very careful horse. He's giving them plenty of air here.
Clears the last.
Lovely shot to the last, and
that was a good time, 139.84. It'll go up, of course, because of the seconds added in, but nevertheless into fourth there for Adam Gillespie. The young man made the drive down from Newcastle to be here in the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge. But at the moment, New Zealand lead the way. Dan Jocelyn and Blackthorn Cruz. They're out in front, 133.78, and Dan really has put the pressure on all of these riders that are following, including yourself.
Exactly, yeah, no, sometimes it's good to get out there, get a good time early on, and then just everybody has to chase you. So, and that's what's happening at the moment. Now, this is a very experienced horse, Ludwig, actually based in my yard in Wiltshire. Very experienced older horse, used to be ridden by his sister Ellen. Can be a bit quirky though, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And he's had the second fence down.
That gate's going to be potentially a decisive fence as we move through this class.
I think that's one that's just worth taking a little bit of time early on and not rushing it too much.
And Ludwig will also be heading out to Rio.
Yeah, no, his horse is on its way. His horse has to go to Liège, I think, to go. He's not travelling with the Swedish horses, they're going with the continental horses. Our horses go from Stansted, leaving the yard at 6:45 tomorrow morning.
Well, the best of luck to all of the horses in their travels, and the riders too. But today, Ludwig concentrating on one thing.
Oh.
I might get another look at that at the end, but...
Yeah, no, he was just a bit far off it, coming off the bank, and he was just a bit far off.
He's kept up a good pace, though, just over that 70 seconds as he reaches the Irish Bank. And that fence, Mark, when you come to it, and I stood in front of it when I walked the course, you can't see anything on the other side, and it's just a case of the horse trusting you.
It's a real proper bullfinch, that. It's got to be at least 6 foot high, and you can't, as you say, you can't see through it. The horses just have to trust that they can brush through it. Well, he's just had a couple of unlucky rails at second fence. So far, anyway.
Well, just 3 more efforts left. 27 jumping efforts on this track. It's a lot of jumping in a short space of time.
Oh, and he's had the last as well.
Well, Ludwig get a set of style there, and Southway go into 5th. 145.42 the final time. Looks a little disappointed with that. So it's Dan Jocelyn, Joseph Murray, Ireland in 2nd, and Great Britain's Matthew Heath 3rd. Just clipped that final fence and down it went.
We've still got some very good horses and riders to go yet. It's certainly not all over.
A long way to go in this class. 22 come forward. Harriet Upton now. Harriet here with Valisa Lee's Kilkenny Lady. Harriet, who's competed at the Young Rider Europeans in 2014, only 20 years old. How's she going to take on this gate?
I was just going to say she rode that well. She gave her time and squared up to it, but
gate like that, of course, on flat cups, it only takes a little tickle.
And of course, the other thing is, the horses are warming up over show jumps out the back, so they're probably coming into an arena. They're probably thinking show jumping, and then all of a sudden, we riders say, "Right, go." We're now in cross-country mode, and they're a little bit, what on earth's going on? This horse is looking particularly lost out there. He's certainly questioning what she's asking. But she's just giving him a nice, easy ride now.
She takes what is technically the shortest route.
And had that one down too. Got underneath it and climbed over it.
So 8 seconds will go on at the end of the round. But like you say now, she's not attacking the clock. She's just looking to have an encouraging round where she gets home safely, builds confidence, it seems.
Yeah, no, she's just out for a bit of a cruise round, hoping just to get completed at her first Hexted Adventures Derby, I would say. And he's taken a particular dislike to that.
Really didn't want to go anywhere near it.
But she's, I don't know what she's doing now, because you're not really allowed to show them the fence, and and she's coming back for another go. I'm not sure he's going to like it this time either.
Plenty of encouragement,
No.
but you were dead right.
He just says, oh, it looks like he wants to have a drink out of it, actually. She's not. That's not going to do anything. Just standing there kicking him, he's not going to. So anyway, I think she should just put her hand up now and say, "That's enough."
Well,
no, she's going to have one last go.
Well, we're under eventing rules, so she can have the second refusal. She's allowed the third attempt.
And he said,
she tried hard. She really did try.
yeah, and he just said, "No, I'm not going over that."
And when your horse really doesn't want to play the game, you're not going to be playing that game.
No, they're big, strong animals, and if they decide they don't want to do it, there's not a lot we can do about it.
Well, top of the order remains unchanged. New Zealand still out in front, and still 133.78 is the leading time.
Now, this is one of the crowd favourites, Ben Hobday. And this is a great old horse, Park Clydesdale. He's been round Badminton. I would say this could be right up his alley, this.
Super Cob.
Cleared the second fence.
Well, Ben, who won individual bronze, the Young Rider Europeans in 2008. Like you say, they really do have a legion of fans now, this particular pairing, from their cross-country performances at Badminton and Burghley.
And making a good fist of it so far. And you'll notice on his back there, he's got Wilbury, the Wonder Pony, charity, cancer charity set up by Hannah Francis, who's an amazing young lady, who very sadly has cancer. Anyway, Hannah, if you're watching, we're all thinking of you, wishing you all the best. Ooh.
Oh. You event riders have amazing stickability.
This horse is really going for it.
He certainly is. This will challenge Dan at the top of the leaderboard. If we can keep him on a 0 score with nothing to add. Nevertheless, the crowd are getting behind him.
I would say his biggest challenge will be the last 3 fences and not having another one down. But see, that water's quite deep through there. You actually don't want to go in too quick, and I think the horses can sense it's quite deep too. Now he's just got to leave. If he can leave these 3 up, he's got a chance of catching Dan. Just the last fence. No, he's not going to do it. And he has the last.
Well, 133.34 was quick enough, but the fence has fallen.
He's had two down, so that's
not to be.
But
well, very bad luck to Ben Hobday. Gave it his best efforts with Merley's error, but it is into 4th place as it stands. Wasn't hanging around coming off the top of the bank.
I think the key to this is to just get going in a nice even rhythm, not to try and hurry it too much, because if you try and go too quick and too hurried, then those poles at the end do come down. So.
Well, next, Jeanette Breakwell, two-time Olympian, Team Silver in Sydney. Was also out in Athens as well. Now, Jeanette last year took the wrong course in this class.
I shouldn't laugh, because wouldn't be the first time I've done that either.
Right at the top of the sport for so long.
Yeah, Jeanette had a nasty tumble at badminton this year, and good to see her back in action. I don't know this horse, but he's just looking a little bit startled by it all. So Jeanette's just giving him a bit of time there to get round to that second corner, and now not hurrying him off the bank. And she's going to say, "Okay, mate, we'll just go the easier way down here."
But I suppose if you take the easier route, what I see is the horses keep moving, they keep going forward.
Yeah.
You don't have that sort of few second pause some cases at the top of the bank.
Yeah, so if they sometimes, they can stand on the edge of that steep bank and for 2 or 3 seconds wondering whether they should go down or not, and you've wasted that time. Ooh, took half the bank with him there. I hope they can repair that quickly.
How quite difficult this competition is to stay clean, even with experienced horses.
Well, using all of her experience. Now round to this tricky Devil's Dyke.
Oh, he was very good through there. Horses make great liars out of you. Sometimes you think horses, that might have trouble at something like that, go straight through it like that, and other ones that you think should be fine find it terrifying and don't jump it well. But he's actually got better and better as he's gone around, which is always a good sign.
Well, maybe not able to challenge for the lead, but there's 7 seconds in the gap between first and second. Could she slot herself into second here? Jeanette Breakwell then towards the final fence on Forever Red.
Yep. Sadly, that last fence has come down again. That's definitely the bogey fence.
Well, Jeanette Breakwell goes 7th there with the final fence falling. Well, Will Furlong next in. And as Will joins us, I'll say thank you very much, Mark. Good luck in this competition and good luck out in Rio as well.
Thank you very much.
Well, as Mark Todd leaves the commentary box, we've got another special guest to join us in just a moment. I'll just let her take her seat while, as you can see, Will making his way out onto the track. And Will Furlong here with Colleen P2. Competed here last season, 12 months ago. Had a little bit of an issue going into the water. And there, another combination to have had that early gate down.
I've been on it since I was 17, and it's been unbelievably supportive, helpful, and just fantastic support for all of us.
Well, as you can see, Will Furlong continuing, and delighted now that joining me here in the commentary box. Very good afternoon to Tina Cook.
Hello, good afternoon. It's actually quite warm when you're out there doing things, out of the wind.
And, well done. You've already competed. How did you feel things went?
Well, I was a little bit disappointed, to be honest. He's quite an experienced horse. But he's quite a clever horse, and he was a bit suspicious and wasn't as careful. We had 3 down, I think, and he just backed off going into the Devil's Dyke and didn't make the distance and had them down properly. But if you're not in it, you can't win it.
Absolutely. You were attacking the track, you went for it, and very well done. Unfortunately not to be today. But Dan Jocelyn's really sort of set a very quick time right from the start of this course, and it seems to have put the pressure on.
Yes, he has. I mean, Dan's ridden around here many times as well, and he's on a horse that's, is a good jumper. So he went for that clear round when you're drawn number 1. He would know how the course rides in here, and you've got to be quite positive with the horses to give them confidence. And he went for that clear round rather than necessarily for speed, and it's working for him at the moment.
Well, round to this final loop and line of fences with the water out the way.
But Will Furlong's a really good young rider, has done very, very well. He's won medals at young rider level, and he has a really strong team of horses. Some lovely young horses coming through. The horse has just got a little bit flat over the last, which is so easily done. The event horses see a hedge and just flatten over it. But it's a lovely, lovely horse, and has gone well on the eventing circuit.
Well, it's 8th as it stands for the 2015 individual gold winner for the Young Rider Europeans. And a rider that we'll continue to hear a lot of as the years continue on. There, Will Furlong. Well, Sarah Bullibor next in, joining us here with her own Rêve de Rouet.
This is a very experienced combination. Sarah's got several horses at top level, has been very close to getting into British teams. In fact, she rode at the Europeans last year on her lovely mare. But she's come all the way down south here for this competition. It's such great fun. The riders love coming here, and it's such a privilege to be riding in this arena.
We were saying with Mark a little earlier, it must be very different. It's such a unique competition for event riders.
It is a totally unique competition, and for the horses as well. So we can go in here and look a little silly, which I have done in the past. You've got horses that on the show jumping circuit and the eventing circuit actually show jump very well and jump many clear rounds, as the horse I've just ridden. He's jumped clear at 4-star. But you come into an arena like this that they're not really used to, and they suddenly just dry up on you and back off and get a little bit suspicious, and by doing that lose their carefulness over the fences that fall down. So the public that come here are expecting you to do well, but we're here to entertain. That is the main thing about this crowd. The crowd have come here with the rain coming down, but they are still sitting in the grandstand that is not covered, wanting to watch the riders that have come from all over the country to come on and take this class, and good money for us as well.
Certainly are. There were big queues coming in to Hickstead today, thousands of people in the grandstand. The covered grandstand is full, but they are out in force in the uncovered stand as well, as the rain has begun to come down. And does that disadvantage in any way those still to run a little bit as the I mean, it's a fantastic surface out there, as we know, but nevertheless
this is quite a naughty stop there for an old horse. He's 12 years old, he's really found 4 stars, but it just shows, even though they've sometimes been around a 4-star, he was suspicious there and really didn't want to be taking on, wanted to have a look first, and it just shows how horses can make you look a little silly sometimes. But that's not saying that Sarah is silly at all. He's a horse that should have gone well in this class. But the rain, it doesn't really. We know as riders to make sure that we stud the horses up well, which is these. You can put 2 or 3 studs in each shoe to give the horses quite a bit of grip. And the Buns have done an amazing job with this arena by the drainage. They spent thousands of pounds making it so that when we do get the heavy rain, that it stays this amazing surface. So it can get a little slippery, but the riders are all very professional and would have studded the horses up so that they don't slip. That would be the only disadvantage. We're unfortunately used to getting wet riding outside on quite a regular basis.
Especially this summer, it seems, as well.
Yes, a lot. And when we're eventing, we can be doing a dressage test, as it happened with me in London, and the heavens can open, but you have just got to keep going.
I know, I remember, and the judges' box front ripped off and everything for you that particular
you have to
day.
go. But you can see there with positive riding, Sarah was very cross with him and gave him a smack and said, jolly well, get on with it.
Well, in the end, not to be today for Sarah, but it is to our next to go. Laura Collett now, and here with Mr. Bass. And Laura, another of our top British event riders, competed at the Europeans at Blair last year, finished 13th individually. Has team gold in the Young Rider Europeans, also has 3 individual Young Rider golds as well.
Laura is one of our really up-and-coming talented young riders. This is a lovely young horse. She's been going very fast with him this year. He did an amazingly quick round inside the time at Barbary on his last outing, so he really can cover the ground. He's done very well for a young horse. But she does a lot of jumping over the winter with these horses and have taken him abroad. She's decided to go straight down the bank. He was very cautious and looked what he was doing. That was very good. That would have saved a few seconds. As to avoid going that, it's a little bit fiddly. Oh, she didn't quite get the right stride there, but the horse sorted himself out, and you can see how nimble, for a very big horse, he sorted his legs out.
Now, 70 seconds over that Irish bank certainly puts Laura in touch with the leader, Dan Jocelyn.
He's taking it really well around this course. Laura is being very positive, sitting really behind him and being very positive with him. Yes, he did have that one down going in. She did use quite a lot of speed there, which was going to catch her out. But for a big horse for going the fastest he is, he's very quick at getting his legs out the way. He's used to going fast cross country. That water is deceptively deep in there. You have to really sit up and sit tight. She's ridden around here many a time, so she knows what the arena's like. She's going very well. She's been very fast.
This is quick, 133.78. She, even with the 4 seconds to add, is very much in touch with taking over the lead of the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge, and that she does. What a great round. That was 130.93, the final time with the seconds added in. Mr. Bass, Laura Collett lead the way.
That was fantastic. For a young horse, he's so used to going fast cross country, but as I keep saying, he was so clever. There, she didn't get a stride at all to that, but he got his legs out of the way. He has a conscience, but he's also very, very brave. And there at the last, did you just see how he folded his legs, not wanting to touch that pole? That was a lovely round. She'll be so pleased with that. And her owners live locally to here, so they'll be thrilled.
Great news then for Laura Collett and Mr. Bass as she now takes over Great Britain top the leaderboard in the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge. New Zealand's Dan Jocelyn in second, Ireland's Joseph Murphy in third, and it's New Zealand once again that join us next. And another rider returning, having competed here 12 months ago. It is Tim Price now. Tim here with Trisha Rickards, the precious one. And Tim, who is also the reserve rider for the New Zealand team for Rio and those Olympic Games next week.
Yes, he's another reserve, because I'm not sure when they are flying, but I'm flying in the morning to go out to Rio, so I've got to go back and do some packing, which I haven't done yet. Tim is a real hard worker. He rides a lot of horses. He's a fast cross-country rider. He's a real horseman. And this is only a 10-year-old horse. He has been advanced, has done some 3-star competitions, so he's used to the height of the fences. Tim won't worry about a bit of rain blowing in his face. In fact, it makes you feel like you're going faster when you're doing that. But it's a relatively new horse to him, but it's a real blood and agile type of horse, and is quick, as you can see. He moved away from that fence very, very quickly, and he'll be able to really see a flyer at that big brush. It's like a chasing fence.
Well, last year he was like lightning, lost a little bit of time at the Derby Bank, but not losing too much time here this year. Of course, a different ride. It was his Kentucky winner, Wesco, last year.
Oh, you see, the horse was very clever. He saw a very forward stride going in, but he quickly shortened the horse up. Oh!
Hold tight.
Yes. I was a little bit worried for him then, because sometimes when that happens, that water catches you out. But he's going really quick, really quick.
Well, Laura Collett will know that her time at the top of the leaderboard is under challenge already. 4 seconds to add, but this is quick.
Oh!
A wither and a wave. It was a bit of a squiffy line to the final fence. But it is into the lead for Tim Price and the precious one. Great round of jumping from one of New Zealand's very best. Well done, Tim.
Well, he just went to try and set the horse up coming to the last, and it was just ignoring him. So his little setup became a little bit more severe. But
pay attention, please.
Yes, please, even though it is the last fence.
Well, he is 8 seconds quicker than the rounder Laura Collett. That's going to take some catching, I would think.
Yeah, it will do, but Olivia Craddock here riding Billy Liffey, which is a horse bred by the Billy stud, by the Funnels. Olivia Craddock is a local girl. She only lives 20 minutes away from here. She was 6th in the under-25s at Bramham this year, which was the first time for her at this level. He's a fantastic jumper, this horse. Normally they would be lacking a little bit of experience to ride in this sort of arena, but he's jumped round Bramham. He's seen some very, very big fences. She's a very positive, brave young rider, and she will be positive and be riding very forward. She's quite brave. She likes going fast, and as you can see, he's an athletic jumper. He finds the dressage quite difficult, but he's giving her so much experience as she's working her way up the levels in our sport. And to have a horse like this that can jump and be as nimble over a fence like that is lovely to have.
Well, interestingly as well, Tim Price's time of 122.97 is 2 seconds quicker than the winning time here last year of Andrew Nicholson.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He was covering the ground, you know, he was very, very quick in between the fences. Livy's still clear. Just want to give the horses a chance to see that little narrow fence there. She's not going to get the 2 strides. Just popped in a third one. And she was clear the horse is always going to do it, but when they don't jump off there quite well enough, they don't get the 2 strides, so all it is time wasting. If you add in extra strides, it's seconds, the clock ticking away. So now coming to the dike, it's a really bright blue ditch under there. Oh, the horse was just a bit unbalanced when he came out.
Well, the dike today, once again, is picking up its fair share of faults.
Just getting the horse balanced before that log. That's good, I think, this year that we've moved that log a little bit further back from the water. It's given the riders a chance to be positive to the log, but to steady up before hitting the deep water. So from a safety point of view, I think it was a very good move to do that this year.
Well, that's brilliant. We were saying earlier with Mark, because quite a few riders got wet in that particular water last year. It did cause a few hiccups.
Oh, yeah, and unnecessary falls. And this is a fun... Oh, what a shame to have the last. That was expensive, because she was in a very, very strong position.
Well, nevertheless, still into 5th for Olivia Craddock. She can be proud of that performance on Billy Liffey. Of course, 8 seconds has been added into the clock, but it's 5th for Olivia Craddock, and still Tim Price out in front on the precious one.
There, the ground runs away down to that, and the horses then look right down into the bottom of that ditch, seeing that bright blue ditch. Even though we practice those sort of things at home, in fact, I even practiced this morning with my horse, and he still came in the ring and had a look at that.
When you're practicing at home, is it over those lighter poles above a ditch, or is it something a little bit more solid that you would be using at home?
Well, no, I still have some lighter poles, but I still jumped him over a bright blue ditch. But he seemed to forget about that when he came to the competition. So there you go. What are you meant to do?
Well, it's a great insight, in fact, though, into the preparation. And like you're just saying, on the morning of competition, you're out there and you're practicing.
Absolutely. And I always feel that when I bring these horses out, I don't want to have any regrets. And if I hadn't have practiced that this morning, I would be kicking myself. Why didn't I have a practice? But I did, and it happened. So that's life, and that's horsing. And here we have Austin O'Connor.
Yeah, Austin O'Connor. It's Ireland again now. Lex Ruddiman Zahiro Yitit Tiveld. Austin for Ireland. 2-time Olympian, competed in the Olympics in 2008 and in 2000 in Sydney.
I saw Austin earlier and I said, I don't know this horse, and I'm very pleased that you actually had to pronounce his name, because I think I would have struggled. She said he's done a little bit of eventing, but he had a few injuries and he mostly show jumps now. So he's the perfect sort of horse for this sort of competition. In fact, that he's had the experience. Oof, goodness, he's very brave. He couldn't care less. He went straight off the side of that bank. But he a good sort of out of competition, because he knows in game, but if he's experience of going into many show jumps, a bit like a speed horse, to be honest, the way he's absolutely flying around here. Brave as a lion he is.
Well, nothing to add either at the moment. Has really kept the pace up, was very quick down that bank. They know now they can't afford to take too many pulls if they want to challenge the leader.
Don't want to come in too quick here on such a brave horse there. Yes, he was never really going to look at that ditch and therefore paid the penalty of just rather whizzing over it. Oh, yep. You can sometimes go across there on one, and he sort of did with a little bit of a guess, but not too fast, and he was okay. That just gives them a little bit of a shock. That's sort of up to their knees, the water in there, so it does give them a shock, but he is going fast. He's, oh, the horse was very clever there, got very, very deep to it.
Comes to the last with just 4 seconds to add. This may not challenge the leader, but nevertheless, a great round. But the last fence goes down, and it's still, though, good enough to put Austin O'Connor into third there with Zero It Tiveld. 8 seconds added in. Otherwise would have been second.
Yeah, he came here, thinking that he was having a good chance to take this class, and it just shows what a level of competition it is now, and the people that have come here, how close it is. And in the old days, if you had a couple down, you were still up in the first two. Nowadays, people are trying to bring the right type of horses here because you are needing to be leaving most of the poles up to be taking home the money.
Is it a different challenge? Obviously, prior to 2013, when it used to be the Amlin Plus Eventers Grand Prix, we had show jumpers as well involved in the competition. Now, obviously, it's only open to event riders. And does that change the approach? Is that something now that you look at slightly differently?
Not really, because you still like to beat your own.
Absolutely.
We then used to go around Douglas Bunn's Garden. It was then more of an event course in many ways because we had the water fences to go through. And for a lot of the show jumpers, that was really unknown territory. And a lot of the show jumpers weren't wanting to take their proper show jumping horses through water. And so few show jumpers ended up taking it on. So it ended up still being eventers against eventers. But I think it's still a very exciting competition and a lot less work for keeping the fences in this arena rather than having to go around Dougie's Garden.
Well, Abby Walters out on the track at the moment with Perfect Miss Amber, owned by Abby along with Susan Cownley. And Abby, who won individual bronze at the Young Riders European in 2003 out in Poland, was 6th at Barbary this year. And there's another rider that spends a lot of time show jumping as well.
Yes, you could see the turns that she's made. Oh, just made a little bit heavy weather going up the bank there, but she was very quick around those corners, turning back on herself and kept a very good rhythm, didn't waste any time. So she looks a quick rider, and she's ridden around Burley. She completed Burley last year, so she's used to riding around some big tracks over some big fences. So she's a brave girl. There, just sat up, pointed the horse up, and it just shows with the training with these horses, the horses jump off that bank, they lock on to what is in front of them, and as a rider, as long as you try and get the pace right and keep the balance right, that these horses are so honest and they will try their very best to jump them. Oh, she was unlucky there. The mare got a little bit flat over that and just gave it a rub. She's a super little horse, really careful. But she stays in a very good balance. She's a very nice rider. I haven't seen a lot of Abby actually, but impressed the ride that she's given this horse.
Well, now onto this sort of long loop that takes them back round to the finish. And these final 3 fences must be quite testing because you ultimately want to push towards the end, but poles just fall down.
Yes, and like the mare actually, to be honest, is looking like she's getting a little bit tired, and there just added an extra stride when she came off, and there's getting a little bit flat. She was lucky not to have the last, but actually she, out of all of them, is she's looked a little bit tired. She's a little bit rounder in her frame, so I wouldn't know she's maybe as fit as some of the other ones, but it was a very good round and well worth coming back to have another go.
Oh, without a doubt. Abby Walters there, Perfect Miss Amber, goes into 5th. 138.31 the final time. Well, still some strong combinations to go. We've got 5 left to jump. Tim Price still out in front on the precious one. 122.97 is that leading time. But now it's the ride for Holly Woodhead here with Tintin Belcham's Riverside Vision. And Holly, another very talented young rider, silver.
She might not have been very pleased with you there. She didn't quite have a stride to that.
The curse of the commentator, I think we're going to put that down to.
Hollywood is a very, very talented rider. Oh no!
Well,
Oh no, she'll be so embarrassed about that, being unseated. That was absolutely, totally unseated rider. The horse just flung her up in the air, and she was always going to struggle to get back from that.
Well, glad to see, most importantly, that Holly is straight back on her feet, and hopefully all okay, and the horse as well. But nevertheless, we wouldn't have expected that.
No, look, this is, things can happen when you come in. Holly has but a smile on her face. Oh, it looked totally into the ditch, and she had already gone to take off. And just the way that the horse flung her up in the air. You see jockeys being unseated on the racecourse like that. And, Holly is there supporting Hannah. And you can see the mascot she's got on her back.
Yep.
Hannah Francis, who's seriously ill with cancer, and there's so much support from the whole equestrian world behind her and her charity.
No, great to see once again so many of our superstar riders getting behind that wonderful charity and all supporting Hannah. But it's not to be today. Bad luck there for Holly, and that means we've got 4 left to go. Now, this is a combination that I thought potentially at the start of the class might be one of the challengers to take overall honours. It's Elizabeth Power here with her Donavera 01. They were last to go last year, had a fence down late on, finished second behind Andrew. But this is a horse that's a former winner of the British Speed Derby. That was with Elizabeth's brother, in fact, Grand National winner Robbie Power. And it's no stranger to this arena, was here in the Derby a month ago.
Absolutely, they would be definitely one of the favourites. If you'd wanted to put some money on it, it's possibly too late. She's now started, but she's naturally a very fast rider across country. This is a very good jumping horse, has proved on many occasions its capabilities in this arena. So she doesn't look like she's going that fast at the moment, but she's very deceptive how short turns she's making round the corners. Like there, she picked the horse up even though he came off the bank a little bit awkwardly. He's got so much scope and ability over a big fence as well, so these fences are a little bit like child's play to him.
Big stride as well.
Very, very smart across there. He's got a very long stride, which helps with that distance across there because it's quite a long 2 strides.
Well, 70 seconds as she went over the Horse First Irish Bank. We'll put her in touch with the top of the order.
Oh, they didn't see the greatest stride going in. Just slipped a little bit, got a little bit of lack of balance. She went to go on one. She knew she was going on one. That was totally deliberate by Elizabeth. And the horse jumped the deepest part there. So she is going quick. She's still got to leave them up, but she couldn't afford, I don't think, looking at the clock, to have any down. She still needs to leave the fences up.
This is going to be very close, though. 122.97,
yes.
The time to beat. She comes to the final fence. She jumps it clear. We wait for the clock, and we've got a new leader.
Oh!
What a round. Elizabeth Power and Donavera 01, 122.12. Island lead the way.
My goodness, that was so close. She would have been kicking herself. I mean, to be that close to Tim Price's time. She's now, I think that smile is relief as well as everything else. Her father, Con, is here, and I think she would have been getting a telling off if she'd missed that by a few seconds.
Well, brilliant jumping from Elizabeth Power there as she now leads the way in the Amlin Plus Vintage Challenge. And you can see just how much that round meant to her. Last year, finished second. This year, she now leads the way. Now, looking back to last year, this man was first to go, and he set an electric time right out of the box. It is Tom McEwen, his Diesel.
Right, Tom's riding a different horse this year to what he rode last year, but Diesel is a top-class event horse. He has had a bit of time off. He's 14 years old now, so he is a very experienced horse. He's a very good jumper. He could go very well here. He was well placed in the under-25s at Bramham, and this year he won on a lovely young horse Toledo declares that it's a horse, very much a horse of the future, that Tom has been quietly producing away for the future. That this horse is 14 years old, knows his job, and he should be quick. And Tom has done a lot of jumping as well as eventing. He's very stylish. Oh, got very close to that corner, hit that corner, but he stayed and sat tight. He turned tight into that bank. The thing is, going off this bank straight away, he's wasted time. You can actually keep whizzing around the long route, so sometimes if you're being that cautious, there's not a lot to save, and actually he has had the rail off the hedge there, so that'll be expensive at the end.
Yeah, we saw that a little earlier, because if they stand for 2 or 3 seconds on the top of the bank, you were quicker in some cases just hopping down the longer route.
Exactly. I mean, I chose to whiz round with my horse. I mean, in the end, that didn't make any difference because he had a couple of foals down. But if you can keep moving, that's going to be the best for you. Tom driving him over that big bullfinch, right in front of the crowds. The crowd there getting a real value for money watching these event horses going round. Tom riding him forward, left that up. The horse wanted to be careful jumping out over that rail. He's going to have to keep moving. I don't think he's going to be quick enough. No, he's definitely not. He's just got to really get going now. He's been a little bit cautious towards the end of the course. And he just needs to seriously get flying now to even be getting in the top 6, to be honest.
Well, yeah, 138. It will get him inside the top 6. There's a bit of a gap between second and third of around about 8 seconds, but nevertheless he's got 4 to add as he comes to the final fence here. Tom McEwen and Diesel then.
Oh.
Yeah, well, they have that final fence down. So in the end, it's 8 to add. It's into 12th and not necessarily into the money there.
So he'll be a bit disappointed with that because he would have thought this horse could have. But saying that, most of us come here with experienced horses and whoa, he really jumped on the back. Those long 2 strides that the horses then have to put in a massive big jump on that, and our event horses wouldn't see that sort of bank. So it is quite unbalancing.
Well, we've got 2 left to jump in the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge as Islands Elizabeth Power leads the way on Donavira 01, but she'll know that it's nowhere near over yet with the experience of both these final challengers. The first to go of those 2 is Paul Tapner here with Jenny Waller, Angela Scott and his Bonza King de Rouge. Paul, badminton winner from 2010.
Paul's a very quick rider cross country. This is a 13-year-old. Oh, goodness me. Woo.
He's certainly not hanging around.
Really sitting back and flapping the reins and making sure that the horse was going. They would suddenly see that ditch underneath. But he's wanting to go quick. He hasn't come here just to get the place money. So he knows this horse. He's an experienced horse, originally produced by gold medalist Matt Ryan. But this horse has had quite a bit of time off, but it's a quick horse. It's a clever horse over its fences. So Paul has decided to opt for the quick whiz round, which I really don't think it wastes that much time.
I think that worked for him there. He kept up a very quick pace coming down the back of the bank.
This horse has been to advanced level, even though it has had time off. But it's used to jumping and seeing these sort of fences.
He's in touch.
Oh, really came off there, very unbalanced. But the horse was really careful looking after himself. And okay, it wasted time just putting in the extra stride, but it's what we look for in an event horse that has self-preservation like that. When they lose their balance, they find a leg and look after themselves.
That must be so important for event riders.
Yeah. He had a real look into that ditch, and there was just a bit unbalanced going through both elements of that dike. And it's a very steep slope coming out, and if the horses do lose their balance, it's very easy to knock those fences down.
And actually, one of the things we've said in the past, but the undulation of this arena, there is a lot of up and downs, just the slope, the gradient on the actual grass itself.
Yes, no, and it is, and in that dike especially. You know, it's been there for years and many horses have jumped through it, and there's many horses that have taken a dislike to it as well. And there is quite an art to jump through it, even though we're only doing the 2 elements of it. But Paul has done well. It's been a good time. He's been quick, but he has got 8 to add, so he's gone into 7th.
Certainly has. Paul Tapner and Bonza King de Rouge goes 7th, 138.34 the final time. But not to be for Paul Tapner there, as Australia finishing in 7th with 1 left to go. Getting a replay of that attacking style and brilliant ability of the horse just to find its feet. 1 to go in the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge. A 2-time Olympic individual gold medalist, a man that in fact goes to Rio to compete in his 7th Olympic Games. There's not much this man hasn't done, but he hasn't won the Amlin Plus Eventers Grand Prix or Challenge.
And that is why he is here. I am quite sure. Mark has got, we've all got a lot to organise before going off to Rio, but he hasn't come all the way down to Sussex just to be taking part. He is here to be adding this to his list of achievements over a very, very established career. But he is a great man to watch. He's a very generous man with his knowledge. If you ever need to ask advice on a course or how you ride something, he is there. And I would consider him as a friend, as well as somebody that it takes a bit of beating to beat him, and it's a privilege to be competing against him. Well, this is one of his very experienced horses, Campino, that is a top level and a 4-star horse, and was one of his horses that were being considered for Rio. So as he's obviously got Leonardo's about to go on the plane tomorrow, which is probably why he thought Campino can have a spin here, I'm quite sure.
Well, nothing to add over the early stages. Needs to be on top of this bank in around about 70 seconds to be in touch with our leader, Elizabeth Power. He's perhaps a couple of seconds down at that point, but there's no one better to work out where he can make up that time.
Marcus, as we all know, Marcus already ridden at the top level show jumping as well. He just needed to be positive behind that horse, and he just was a bit then careless coming out, which was a shame. Whoops, just added extra stride in. I swear, what happens when you're going for a bit of speed, you sometimes get the strides that you're wanting. In this sort of course, you are wanting to be positive and being competitive. The horses have got to help you out. He should hopefully be getting at the top end of the leaderboard, but I don't think he's not going to be, definitely not quick enough, because Elizabeth Power finished on 1:22.
Well, it is the 4 seconds added in, so 4th is the final position in the end. It's 132.87 there with Campino for Mark Todd as the last to go for New Zealand. So the winner here for 2016 of the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge. They were second 12 months ago. They take the overall honours this year. Well done to Ireland and Elizabeth Power with Donavira 01. What a great result it is for Ireland there. It's second for Tim Price for New Zealand on the Precious One, and Great Britain finishing in third with Laura Collett and Mr. Bass. Mark Todd in 4th on Campino, and in 5th Austin O'Connor. It's Ireland again there with Zero Yit T-Feld. But once again, Tina, it's given us not only great action and entertainment, but top-class sport here this afternoon.
It has been top-class sport. We haven't seen hardly any fallers, just poor Holly Woodhead unseated. It's been a great crowd for the crowd and the weather. They've been sitting out there watching. We've seen some world-class riders here. And bearing in mind, we've got an Olympic Games. There have been some riders which have been reserving themselves ready for next week. But we've had a great class here and some fantastic horses and riders and plenty of speed, but unfortunately too many poles falling in places.
That's what's made the competition. It's what makes this class, the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge, so interesting. It's unique. but ultimately, as I said, great sport and entertainment, and what a great result for Elizabeth Power and for Ireland. And it must be a great feeling for her to come back 12 months after she finished second, and what a result.
She absolutely, she loves coming over here. She flitters backwards and forwards back to Ireland now, so there's a lot of travelling. I was competing in Aachen in Germany with her only a few weeks ago, but she's come over here especially to be taking this class. Well, it's also a show over 4 days, so that she might have been jumping other horses at this amazing venue with 7 arenas here, jumping all day, so you can bring young horses as well as be jumping in this amazing international arena.
Certainly is. We've seen some great jumping today, and we've got plenty to look forward to with our show jumpers, of course, over Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We've got the Furussia Nations Cup here tomorrow, and then as we go through the weekend towards that King George V Gold Cup on Sunday, but by which time you'll have already jumped on an aeroplane and be out in Rio. You are the travelling reserve for the British team. Congratulations. I think I read your article in Horse and Hound, slightly awkward position I think you said to be in, but nevertheless, to be professional, you are part of the team, and we wish all of our team members the very best of luck.
Thank you very much. Yes, it is, and I've got the teammates ahead of me. We want to come home with a gold medal, and if I'm part of that team, that would be fantastic. If I'm not, I will be supporting them. I've done my bit on my lovely young horse Billy the Red, and I've done all I can do, so now I'm there as a supporting role.
Well, you'll be there to support, and I
will
look forward to seeing you there as well. And ultimately, it's been great to have you up here in the commentary box as well today. We're going to have presentations coming up in just a moment, and as you can see, the presentation party beginning to make their way out. We'll find out as well if we can potentially catch up with our winner, Elizabeth Power, and Donavira 01, but I think at the moment she's receiving plenty of congratulations from her support crew down there, and not letting our reporter manage to catch up just yet, but we'll see what happens. But as we look ahead, as we we're just saying, you moved to Rio, and the team all in good shape, feeling confident. Obviously these things are as unpredictable as we don't know what lies ahead, but all the work is now done and all the horses are feeling fit and sound. All
the horses have had the veterinary check over yesterday, and they're all safe and sound. They're all in good order. They've had all their export papers this morning signed and ready to travel. So they will be starting their journey at 8 o'clock tomorrow and meeting at Stansted for their flight over. So, yes, we're going to be leaving the rain behind us and meet the sunshine over there.
Well, whether it rained or whether it was shine, this young lady won't worry too much about what the heavens gave her, because she has topped the leaderboard here and won the Amlin Plus Aventus Challenge here in 2016.
Izzy's got an amazing smile, and she is loving every minute of this. Second is a good place to be, but everybody here wants to be a winner, and she is very much a winner, and on this fantastic horse as well that she knows so well. And she came here wanting to take the money, and she'll be very, very happy about that. Well, I think we're going to have to go a long way to see a bigger smile than that this week, to be fair. And congratulations. She finished 10th, in fact, in the Equestrian.com Derby just 4 weeks ago, and now wins this Amlin Plus Aventus Challenge, whether it be eventing, show jumping, or these more unique type of competitions. A lady at the very top of her game, and it's a horse that was a former winner of the British Speed Derby, that with brother Robbie, who went on and won the Grand National. But it is a family with great equestrian tradition. Mother Margaret competed at badminton, and all incredibly competitive. So they were very pleased to be taking this competition in the bag. I don't know if this horse is going to be jumping in any other classes here at Hickstead. There's no reason why not. He doesn't want to be standing still to have his photograph taken today. So Elizabeth's just trying to get him to relax so they can get a lovely picture of him with this amazing trophy. And the support of Amlin Plus has been amazing with this competition. They've been a great support, and in the eventing circuit, they sponsor many classes. He's behaving himself now, already having his photographs taken. But as we can see, with the amazing hallowed turf behind, with the classes that are coming up later on in the show, a little bit of drizzle on the ground, it is still absolutely perfect out there. And as I said, all the work that the Bunn family have put into the ground here, it is unbelievable. We were here a month ago when it was so wet, and the outside arenas were getting very, very wet and muddy. The international arena here stayed perfect, and the fact that they spent so much time and effort on this arena and put it all back, you would never have known that there's been a show there only a month ago, and the ground is amazing.
It's super ground and been used to good effect by all of our winner Elizabeth Power, but let's give compliment as well to Tim Price in second, the precious one, because there was less than a second between our top two. I mean, we've seen two outstanding rounds here. They were both quicker than last year's winner. It's world class and wants to be said that way. I mean, New Zealand second, Tim Price, but a great round as well from Laura Collett, the best of the British riders, in third. She'll be very pleased, I don't doubt.
She will be very pleased because he is a lovely young horse that's really coming through the grades very, very well. And, you know, he has that fine art of being a big horse but being very nimble and fast. And as I said, it's very close for Tim Price. He'll be driving the lorry home because most of the event riders drive their own lorries. And he's going to have several hours on the way home thinking about that 1 second. How she beat him.
Yep, it's a blink of an eye and nothing more. But at the end of it all the eyes are focused on this one lady. It is Ireland's Elizabeth Power and Donna Vero, one that takes her lap of honour.
A lot of the spectators now have left that open grandstand. There were a lot more people there during the competition, and actually when you're going round they clap and cheer. You can really hear it as you're going round.
We've been able to pick that up as well. The crowd and enthusiasm, they were really cheering every single rider on from start to finish. And there have been thousands of people here at Hickstead this afternoon to enjoy this competition, and we hope you've enjoyed it as well with us here on Hickstead.tv.
Elizabeth waving to all the private boxes up there, everyone enjoying their champagne this afternoon, having a lovely day out of this amazing arena. Such a privilege to be here, and it's of course spooking at everybody there. It's just amazing, isn't it? He's just been jumping all those big scary fences in the arena, and he's spooking everybody watching him and applauding him as she's taking the lap of honour.
Well done again to Elizabeth Power and Donna Vera 01. And as we get set for some highlights and say farewell from us here at Hickstead this afternoon, I just add once again the very best of luck to our British team and to you and them all out in Rio. Thank you for joining us, Tina, this afternoon. But let's catch up with some of the highlights from the Amlin Plus Eventers Challenge.
Ellie here? Good. Okay, we've got the winner. Are you going to count me down?
No, he just needs to go off and put him away, but I'll have to tell him. You go as if